YouTube people, I'm back with Henry, and he just won, or topped, regionals at Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, Brooklyn.
And what'd you play?
I played Pure Thunder Dragons with a few traps.
And why'd you pick this for the new format?
Well, basically when the format changed, I was convinced that some form of Thunder Dragons was the best deck just because of how the deck interacted with the meta. And the first deck I tried was the Draconet deck that went into Ib, and I was convinced that was the worst deck I've ever tried because it was so susceptible to hand traps. But then I really wanted to play the Thunder cards, so I tried Pure Thunder, like someone else's build, and then I thought it was kind of subpar. And then I kind of tried different tech cards, and I looked at what they were playing at the OCG, and I kind of combined OCG cards that they were playing in their meta with the Pure Thunder deck, and I came up with something pretty good. And I've been winning a lot of local tournaments and online. My rating's pretty high in Dueling Books, so I just tried to take it to regionals, and it worked out.
Okay, and how's it good against that rock card, Nibiru?
So the rock card is one of those cards that people are trying to interact with one card, like Orcus are playing Ib or Ibly. I think the best way to play around those cards is just play your deck differently, and so that's like where the traps come in and the other defensive cards.
Okay, awesome. And then what's your record after the whole thing?
After the whole regionals, my record was 8-1. There was 420 something players there, so it was a total of 9 rounds, and I was 8-1.
Okay, awesome. Anything else you want to say?
Not really. I mean, I like how the format is right now. There's a lot of different decks out. I played against none of my worst matchup, which was Orcust. I didn't play against my best matchup either, which was Striker. I played against 2 Dinos, Pendulum, 2 Salmon Greats, a Hero player, and the Mirror match, and a couple of combo Thunder decks, 2 combo Thunder, and that was pretty much it. So.
Okay, awesome. Let's get into it.
Alright, so let's get into the main deck. I played 3 Thunder Dragon, 3 Thunder Dragon Dark, 3 Thunder Dragon Roar, 3 Thunder Dragon Matrix, and the 1 Thunder Dragon Duo. Shout out to my friend Clark for telling me to play this. Originally I was playing Levianeer in the main, but it seemed incorrect because that card wasn't really that good going first. So this is like the best card for game 1. Overall, all these cards are insane. Like even this one's pretty good to open with, just to trigger Titan. Titan's like one of the best cards. Actually, in the mirror match, I could have ended it on a Colossus or a Titan on top of what I already had, and I chose to end on the Titan, which was correct because you just want to pop cards in this format. And yeah, Matrix has a huge role in the deck right now. This puts on pressure. This is always your recursion play, and these are your starters. So yeah, I thought these were all pretty good. And then what was unique about my deck is I played 3 Batteryman Solar, which everyone has been switching to Lapine, which is completely incorrect. This card is just the better one, especially when comboed with the new best card in the deck, Dimension Shifter. So Dimension Shifter is a new card that got shat on. Out of the 3, it's like considered the worst, but I think it's by far the most insane one. Basically, if you have no cards in your graveyard, you just pitch it, and all cards for the rest of the next 2 turns, your turn and your opponent's turn, are banished. All cards are banished. So when you go normal summon Solar and they have Ash and they choose not to Ash it because it's not really that big of a deal if you get your Foolish off, and then you chain Dimension Shifter. So instead of sending Roar to the graveyard, it gets banished, and then you trigger Roar to Special Dark, and then you get a Special Dark, special a token from Solar, and you have a Solar with 3 cards in hands. Like, it's insane.
Oh,
so drawing these cards, I would say, would be comparable to drawing Gazelle and Spinny. Instead of getting a Stalio, you get a Colossus, which is a mistake, and you get a Walking Macrocosmos. Like, it's insane. Like, these 2 cards are like your 2 best starter cards. I would never not play 3 Solar as long as this card is at 3, and you're not playing more than 3 normal summons. So in my mind, Lapine is obsolete right now. So I think that this card is just a better card.
Lapine's a wolf guy, right?
Yeah, Lapine's a wolf guy, and people think it's good because it banishes a card from your deck. Yeah. But the truth is, it doesn't allow you to get access to anything else that you wouldn't already have access to. You're always going to have access to Roar, Dark, and Matrix. It doesn't really do anything. It's in your play, and you can't use it make it into a Colossus. And this just gets you the tokens, so it allows you to go farther.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
nice tech card.
That's just my opinion. And then other than the 3 Dimension Shifter, I played 2 Phantasme for the hand traps just to draw into this. I started the 3rd one, but I always wanted to draw into my power cards going second. For my spells, I played 3 Thunder Dragon Fusion. As I said earlier, Titan is just really important in this format. You just want to keep on popping cards. As the format's really diverse, Titan is the best card. More so, in my opinion, than Colossus, because you can just pop cards, always put on pressure, and I think that this card is, you can side out 1, but it's one of the best cards to see turn 1, because you want to have this engraved to have a turn 3 search of Solar, and then Solar summons a token, and then you link away the Solar, the token, and the Colossus in the extra monster zone, and you go into the BLS link, and that's how you kill your opponent. So this is like, this gets you there. This is an insane card. Instant Fusion. It's just like a starter, and it's a defensive card. So you can summon your Kaminari attack, or you can summon your Thousand Eyes. This is very versatile. I play 2 Allure, 2 Desires as my draw cards. I was playing 3 for the longest time, but this deck has a problem where you're not playing. Not every monster in your deck is a dark, and it's kind of risky. When I beat my opponent, the Thunder Mirror, my opponent drew all lights in this, and he activated it because it's the only thing he could do, and he drew no darks, so he discarded his whole entire hand. Yeah, unfortunate. But yeah, these are alright. They get you there. And then for one-ofs, I play Gold Sark, Reborn, and Upstart. Cool thing I did with Reborn was I actually drew 3 of Dimension Shifter, and one thing I was able to do was, I was in a really tough spot, but I Dimension Shifted once. I discarded the second one, I think, and then I was still under Dimension Shifter, so I reborned it to bring it back, and then this gets banished because this is still under Dimension Shifter, and then I used another one. So like I was able to Dimension Shifter my opponent twice, and Dimension Shifter just says end your turn. So that kind of did something, I guess. I won that game.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And then for traps, probably the most insane card in my deck. I play 3 Peleosog, Dynamiscus.
Oh, you play this card?
Yeah, so basically, I went to bed one night and I was like, you know, this card would be really good. They're playing in OCG. This was like back when the format started, and then later on in the format, everyone playing this card, and all the good players are playing it, including Matthew Navarez. Shout outs to him for getting first place. In his Orcus deck, he played this. My friend Elias plays this. Well, my whole friend circle, I convinced them to play this card. It's insane because it just destroys Salamangreats going first or second, so you hit the problem card, and then also against Striker and Draco. I once won a match against a full entire True Draco board. He had a border, he had a Dynamite Knight, 2 there can only be 1s, and 3 sets. He just had everything. And Diagram. I had that entire board with just having one of these. Because I hit the border and I destroyed the rest of his field. But yeah, this card's insane. It's just like so versatile. So and it works with another card in my side deck, which I'll show in a second.
Okay.
So that's it for the main deck.
How many cards?
40 cards.
Okay.
39 with Upstart. I'm gonna show this side deck first.
Okay.
It's more interesting. 3 Denko Sekka. One of the reasons why this deck is so good going second against the back row decks is you could play 3 Denko and 3 Levineer, which I side each. Yeah, so you just like play these cards against Stun, against Guru, against Salad sometimes, Striker, depending if they play back row. These cards they get you there going second. They're really good to play through Draco boards and Pendulums as well, at least for the Levineers. Denkos come in against this back row. I play new card, 3 Nibiru.
Rock Dude. You play Rock Dude too?
Yeah, it never really came up for me. This card, I didn't really see it that much because I didn't play against any Orcust. Against Combo, I beat them without needing it, so I don't know. It's alright. It's definitely correct to play it. I think it's one of those cards that it wins you games in the long run, so I think it's correct. And then I play the 3rd Phantasmate to just see my power cards. And then for the rest of my side deck, I play 3 Trap Trick, Double Eradicator.
Oh, damn.
And then that would also get me to my triple Dynamiscus in the main. So these 8 cards were always in my deck when I went first. These cards are insane. In fact, the only change I think I would make is I would probably like cut the 3rd Trap Trick to play a 3rd Eradicator.
Yep.
Because the only conflict that this has in my entire deck is with Desires. Because like I feel like I have to slide Desires out if I'm playing Trap Trick, because in case I hit one of this, it's dead. But I think I might just play 2 Trap Trick and the 3rd Eradicator, and I'll still have flexibility. But other than that, Eradicator is broken. It destroys Sky Striker. I've ripped 4 cards from my opponent's hand. Against Pendulums, you wait for them to play Scales, and then you just Eradicator their Scales and their cards in their hands. It's broken against Traps. I ripped an Evenly match against one player. who went Battle Phase, and then went starts up a Battle Phase, and went Trap Tricks, up the Eradicator, activated Eradicator called Trap, ripped his Evenly, he had no other good cards in his hand. And then Dynamiscus again is broken. So just having the flexibility of seeing like a bomb card or a defensive card, it just makes that this card, it makes it like a starter. So yeah, I think this card is broken.
Yep.
So anyway, that's it for the side deck.
Everyone sides out twins against you too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone sides out twin. If they're maining it, they side it out, and they're never going to side it in. So it's like one of those surprise factor things. And it's also like, it goes along with the logic of like playing around Nibiru, because if you lose your monsters, your opponent's spending one card to get rid of your cards, your monsters at least. They give you a token, and the only way they get like over your engine is with monster cards. But then if you get rid of their engine with your trap cards, then it evens out, and then you have a Thunder Dragon Fusion engraved, and you search your solar, and then they just lose. So it's like a kind of counterplay their counterplay. And then for the extra deck, I played Triple Colossus. And then my favorite card, Triple Titan. I think
Play
that
3 of those?
I think it's correct to play 3, yeah, because like you want to be liberal with shuffling back cards with Thunder Dragon Fusion. So like when you want to recycle back Thunder Dragons to discard for Titan one by one, you don't want to have to shuffle back the first Titan for this to have its maximum capability. So I think playing 3 is correct. And then for the rest of the fusions, I play 1 Kaminari attack and 1000. It's pretty standard. And then for the links, Link Karibo. This is for when you open Matrix and Hawk. You need the second one for when you open Reborn and no way to discard a Thunder. Then I play 1 Phoenix and 1 Unicorn. These cards are very good utility. And then I play the BLS Link. This card's pretty
You
good.
play this card?
Yeah, I think this card's pretty good because you always have access to a level 7 or higher to make this untargetable. Once this hits the board against Striker, their only out in their entire deck is if they play Ningirsu, the Link 3, the World Chalice. Yeah, if they play that, they have an out, but if they don't play it, they don't have an out.
Okay.
And then if I kill my opponent, just Boral Sword, that's
OTK time.
OTK time. I make Boral Sword a lot. The only card I might consider putting back in is Borreload, just because a lot more people play Borreload, I guess because of the new structure deck that came out. But other than that, it's just, you don't really need it. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much my deck profile. I think that it's like one of the best decks in the format because it's not like heavily played. And like because everyone's playing the heavy combo decks or like because everyone's playing heavy combo, everyone's playing Nibiru, and because everyone's playing Nibiru, the other half of the meta is like back row decks, and we kind of just like we could play the back row cards, but we could still have a high ceiling. So it's like that sweet spot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much my deck profile. I want to say a huge shout out to my friend Elias for testing with me every single day, talking theory, and I think he's gonna do really well next week's weekend's regionals. Also my friend Clark and Trevor and Ranks as well sponsoring me, and I'm so angry for playing the deck profile.
Dang, gracias. Thank you.
Arigato.
Arigato, bye.